Awesome. All right, guys. I am super excited that you guys were able to join me tonight. And we're going to do this every other week, I think, is kind of what the plan is. And what I want to be able to do is first, I'm going to kind of just give you a quick overview of what the agenda is. Really, we're just going to cover a couple topics. One is going to be what is Isagenix. The second will be why we need it. And the third will be kind of what our solution is. And then I'm going to try and do that as efficiently as possible so that at the end, if we have some time, we're using the kind of free version of this program at the moment. So we only have 40 minutes. But if there's time at the end, I'd love to open up the lines and we can even put the screens back up and give you an opportunity to ask questions if you want. So let's just dive right in. And I'm going to, where did my, stop my video. And now let's share our screen. And again, for those of you that are listening in on the phone, you are obviously not going to be able to see what's happening here, but we're going to be, let's see, can I move this? Sorry. All right. All right. Hopefully everybody can see this okay. All right. So the first thing that I want to do for those of you who don't know me, I was going to give you a quick background. So for those of you that can see the screen, there's a picture of me and my wife, Meredith. And Meredith was actually introduced to this before I was. I actually remember the day very, very clearly where she was standing in the kitchen. I had just come home from work and she starts telling me about this thing that she had been talking to a friend of hers from college about, and she told me what it was. And I said, oh, I've never heard of it. And, you know, a little of my background, I've been a gym rat for probably, I don't know, 15 or 20 years now. It seems like a solid 15. And I have my own weight loss journey that really started when I got out of college. I put on a ton of weight in college, and not the good kind of weight. And so I really started a health journey then, and it really has been quite an interesting transformation for me. But really, the context of that is that I've spent a lot of time in the gym. I've spent a lot of time taking supplements. I've spent a lot of time really trying to understand how to build a body, how to, use nutrition to get the body to do what we want it to do. And so I really was very skeptical because I thought I knew everything. Even though I was skeptical, I really was quasi open to it, mainly because we really had tried so many different things with Meredith. She has a dairy allergy, so creates a bit of a challenge for some of what she wants to consume from a dietary standpoint. And then she was diagnosed late in her life with celiac. And for those who don't know what that is, it's autoimmune disease where she can't have gluten. And so that also had created quite an issue with trying to figure out what she could eat. And really just a continuation of digestive problems that had been in her life for most, really since she was, a young girl. And the kind of byproduct for her most of the time was just this bloated, really kind of sluggish feeling after she ate. And so because we had tried so many different things, both, kind of natural path type things, as well as, different medicines and things, and nothing really was working, I had just kind of put it out there that we needed to give it a try. And we did. And her results were quite undeniable. She not only, did her digestive issues begin to be relieved, but she lost a few pounds. And more importantly for me at the time, she got this natural energy that I had never seen from her. And at the time, we'd been together for 16 years, I think. And I had never seen her with this type of energy. Meanwhile, I was about 6 months removed from a bodybuilding competition that I had competed in. I was in absolutely probably the best shape of my life at the time, from a external standpoint, but internally I was a hot mess. I was drinking anywhere from 10 to 12 cups of coffee a day, just trying to get through the day, on top of highly caffeinated pre-workout drinks and all kinds of other energy drinks and things to get me through the day. And so I'm watching her bounce off the wall, and she had given up coffee in order to do this at the time. And I was just couldn't get my head wrapped around how in the world she could have this energy. So I dove in about 30 days later. I actually lost a few pounds, which was quite interesting to me, being that I was in the best shape of my life. And if I'd stepped on a scale at the time, you would have never, like, the scale wouldn't have said that, I needed to lose any weight. But what I did end up releasing was this toxic fat, the visceral fat stuff on the inside that's really scary. And so it was quite interesting as that all unfolded. We started to talk to a few people about it. And really, at the time, we had absolutely zero intention of sharing this with anybody. But we shared it with a few friends and a few family. And we started to watch other people have these crazy transformations. And so we kind of felt like we had been called to do this. My career at the time, I was really on a path that was not very fulfilling, and I was not probably providing a home environment that was really great for my family at the time, because I was bringing a lot of stress home with me. And so I had been searching for something different, and would have never in a million years told you that this was going to be the path. But as we started to see people's lives change, we thought, well, we can't just sit on this. We got to tell everybody we know about it. And quite frankly, everybody that we come in contact with as well. So we really felt like we had been called to this. So that's why we do what we do. We're not, I'm not a professional presenter. I don't get paid to do any of this kind of stuff. This is just us doing what we feel like we're supposed to do. So as we go through this presentation, I just want you to kind of think about the people in your life, and really yourself too. Are you looking for an opportunity to improve your health, or maybe have better digestion like Meredith was dealing with, or maybe you have a few pounds that you'd like to lose, or increase your energy. Maybe as you lose a few pounds, you increase your confidence and you just feel better in your skin. Or like us, find this vehicle, this movement, this health movement that we've become so passionate about, to really helping people change lives. And so think about that. Think about the people in your life that might benefit from something like that. So we oftentimes get the question, what is Isagenix? And I told you we were going to cover that. So the short answer is we're a solutions-based company. And there are a number of different solutions that we provide. And quite, our kind of company slogan is, that we have solutions that transform lives. And so as we think through that, it's really, it's different for every person, because everybody's going to have slightly different goals. And we can really customize and tailor fit this to what people's goals are. But some of the solutions that are kind of common, and probably the one that we get lumped into the most, is weight loss. And the reason for that is that it's a byproduct. It's a side effect, if you will, of introducing really good nutrition into the body, as well as detoxifying the body. And so, it's the category that we are in quite a bit, because it is a very common side effect. But it isn't the only thing. Like I mentioned, increased energy and performance. We have a whole new performance line of products that are all natural, pre-workout, post-workout, inner workout type things for folks who are wanting to increase their performance in whatever activity, truthfully, that they're doing. We have products and solutions for healthy aging, and we do have something for wealth creation. We're not going to talk about that at all tonight, because I really just want to talk about the products. So as you hear that, kind of what of that makes you excited? For me, it was really all of it. I mean, I didn't know some of it, but the energy was really what I was after. And I kind of got the rest of it as a byproduct. So why do we need Isagenix? Well, I think it's safe to say that we can all agree that we are in the middle of a health crisis in not only the United States, but in the world, really. But just dealing with the U.S. For this purpose, there's some statistics that are quite frightening, really. 1 in 2.2 people will develop cancer, which is a significant increase, being that in the 1950s, that number was 1 in 12. The breast cancer is, the diagnosis of breast cancer is 30% increase over the last 25 years. So 1.3 million women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Diabetes and thyroid disease and autoimmune disease. I mentioned earlier that Meredith has celiac, and I didn't even know what an autoimmune disease was. I kind of thought it might be something that you could catch, and obviously that's not the case. And a lot of it stems from inflammation, and most importantly, inflammation in the gut, which is caused by a lot of different things. But one is kind of a toxic load that our bodies are forced to really bear because of our environment, which we'll dive into a little bit deeper. Obesity is on the rise. 2 out of 3 Americans are clinically overweight. And then one that's really kind of staggering is 1 out of 3 children are clinically overweight. And that to me really hits home, because I have 3 kids that range from the age of 10 to just over 9 months. And, statistically, one of my kids should be overweight. Now, granted, we are providing an environment in our home where they can use the products that we're using, and so they're getting really good nutrition. So we're trying to beat that average. And a statistic that even probably for me is even more challenging to get my head wrapped around is my children's generation is the first generation that has a life expectancy that's shorter than their parents. And so again, like I don't want that to be the case. I don't want my kids I want them to live longer than I will. And so, we really feel like we're charged with this passionate movement to do something about that. So that's why we do really what we do. So what's causing this? Well, there's a lot of different causes, but probably 2 that are the most crucial is that we're nutritionally deficient. The foods that we consume, even if we are eating, what we would call clean or very healthy diets, are just bankrupt of nutrition. A lot of it stems from, over farming. We're turning the soil over faster so that we can get new crops planted so that we can make more money. We're genetically modifying seeds. We're introducing toxins into that system early. No longer is it just stuff we're spraying on crops, but it has something to do with how things are being handled from the minute that they're put in the ground. And we're toxic. So, there's toxins in our air, it's in our foods, in our water, and we'll talk about that a little bit more too. 95% of Americans are acidic. Our bodies were really designed to operate in a neutral environment, if not slightly alkaline, and so, our bodies are kind of operating in a place that they weren't really designed to. I use an analogy a lot that, if you had a high performance sports car and it was called to have, high octane fuel put in it in order for it to operate the way that it was designed to, and you drove it off the lot, drove it around town, and then went to the gas station to fill it up and you put low grade fuel in it, it might work. It might get you around town from point A to point B, but it's not going to operate with the efficiency and the performance levels that it was supposed to. And so is true with our bodies. We're designed to operate in a certain type of environment with a certain type of fuel. And unfortunately, because of a lot of different factors, we're not putting that fuel in our bodies. Convenience has gotten us in a lot of trouble because we are, there's a quote unquote fast food restaurant just about every block. And, while that's something that makes us feel full, there's really no nutritional value in it. And so we're conveniently stopping places because we're busy, and we're not giving our bodies the fuel that it needs. And so, because we're not getting the nutrients from our food the way that we're supposed to, then supplementation is really quite critical. And I would say that if we surveyed everybody that's on the line right now, and even more, if we were in a large room full of people and we asked the question, how many people take a multivitamin, I would say probably 90% or more of the people in the room or on the line tonight would say that they take some kind of multivitamin supplement. And 50 or 75 years ago, that wasn't really necessary because the food sources were providing all the nutrients that we needed. I don't think my grandparents would have taken a multivitamin. They didn't start taking that kind of stuff until they got older. They didn't need to supplement anything from a nutritional standpoint when they were our age or younger. And so we are challenged with providing our bodies with the right type of fuel. So I've said the word toxic or toxin a few different times. So what is that? Well, quite truthfully and simply put, it's just some kind of foreign substance. For us, we are inundated with things that are in our air, in our water, in our food sources. We, spraying things on crops to keep bugs and animals away. As we have bigger industry, we're pumping more things into the air. Our cars are bigger. Our emissions are providing, there's more stuff going up into the atmosphere from all the different things that we are putting on the roads. There's just more cars. We're putting things on our skin that, it's the largest organ of our body. And we're putting different makeup and chemical, deodorants and shampoos. And, obviously there are organic types of these products, but most people aren't using them. And even an organic one probably still has allowable levels of chemical. So even if you're being extra clean, because we know the FDA allows it for foods that are labeled organic, they still have allowable levels of chemicals. Our water sources are, being tainted with all kinds of stuff. We're having to put chemicals in, the cities are putting chemicals into their water system to be able to neutralize it so that people can drink it. And just here locally, we just heard of a couple different cities that they put a boil warning out that if you were going to drink the tap water, you needed to boil it first, because there were, I don't remember what they found in it, but it was toxic. And then, cleaning supplies and fire retardant that we have on our furniture, and Scotchgard and all these different things that we're absorbing through our bodies. And so, our bodies are just getting inundated with this stuff. And we have a natural, our bodies have a natural detoxification process, but it's constantly working. So it can't ever get ahead and kind of drive that point home. In a number of years ago, the Red Cross did a study where they tested they took a sampling of 10 Americans, and they were testing the blood for 413 different toxic chemicals. And of those 413, they found 287. And of the 287, 212 of them were industrial chemicals that had been banned over 30 years ago. And you can look this study up online. It's called the Red Cross study. And the thing that's the most interesting about it is, if those numbers weren't staggering enough, the sampling were newborn babies, and the blood that they were testing was cord blood. So what that's telling us is that, in what is supposed to be the safest environment for a child to grow inside the mother's womb, mom is transferring all the stuff that she's having to deal with in her environment into the baby's environment. So, we're starting out in kind of behind the eight ball from the word go. Like I mentioned earlier, we oftentimes hear people talk about, well, I eat clean. Well, that's awesome because you're way ahead of the curve, because most people don't. But even if you ate strictly organic, the FDA allows for certain amounts of chemicals. And Dr. Oz did a study, and for those that can see the screen, this is a sampling of some of the things that he did, that he tested. And it's organic versus conventional. And you can see that there were still plenty of chemicals in even the organic foods. Now, obviously, they're better than the conventional, but still not perfect, right? And so as we go through and we talk about toxicity and this rise in obesity, there's all kinds of different health problems that roll out of these issues. There's an increased risk of all kinds of different things. And again, for those who can see the screen, there's a whole big list of different diseases and things that are potential risk as you increase obesity and toxicity in the body. And you may have experienced something on this list yourself or someone you know. I know for me, there's a few things on this list that I have had challenges with over the years. And so, at the end of the day, the food we eat is nutritionally deficient and bankrupt. And our immune system is it's our line of defense. It's the thing that we're reliant on to keep us healthy. And it's just constantly being pounded on by foreign pollutants and things that it just can't keep up. So, what do we do about that? And, at the end of the day, we're not trying to scare anybody or put, some level of fear into you in order to get you to make a decision. We're just simply stating fact. And so, what we feel like from our experience, and I think I failed to mention at the very beginning that Meredith and I started using these products over 2.5 years ago. And so this is not something that we've just found 30 days ago that we're now telling you that we have experience in. We really have seen probably, I think at this point, we're about 7,800, almost 8,000 people have joined this movement since we started. And there are thousands and thousands of stories that can be told around this and what people's experiences are. And so we really believe that nutritional cleansing and rebalance, and nutritional rebalancing is really the key. And so, I talked about the kind of acidity versus alkalinity, and there's a list here. You probably remember the scale from, I don't know, maybe middle school, life science or whatever, the kind of rainbow scale that just lists lots of different foods that are acidic and foods that are alkaline. And, you can really try and eat a diet that stems in that alkaline. And it's really quite effective, but it's hard. It's a lot of work. And I mentioned earlier that convenience got us in trouble, but I also believe that there's a way that convenience can get us out of trouble too. So, there's some benefits to the body getting less acidic, and there's, we see an increase in energy. We see, weight being lost. We see people sleeping better, reduced inflammation. I mentioned earlier that a lot of autoimmune diseases are, they stem from inflammation in the gut. So if we can balance the pH in the body, likely inflammation can be reduced. Slow down the aging process. We know that as we carry more weight and our health is bad, we age faster. So if we're in better health and we're in better shape, then logically we're going to age more gracefully. We have better digestion, and the list continues to go on. And this is not new science. There was a doctor in 1931 who won the Nobel Prize for proving that cancer can't thrive in an alkaline, oxygen-rich environment, and that it actually does thrive in an acidic, low-oxygen environment. So, it just again reiterates the fact that it's important to try and get our bodies into proper nutritional alignment. And you can probably, think through this, and you start to hear some things that you go, well, it sounds a little bit like a diet. Well, I want to try and talk through that for a second. Traditional diet really, it talks, or there's always some level of deprivation. We're going to cut something out. We're going to stop something. We're going to count calories. We're going to do something that allows the body to lose inches of some sort, or we're going to reduce the size of the body. But we never really address the root cause, that there are impurities in the body that need to be addressed. And so we have these impurities in the body. We do whatever we do to make the body reduce its size. And then, the body has this natural defense mechanism built into it, that when it senses something foreign, a foreign pollutant or some kind of impurity in it, it protects the organs by taking a little bit of fat and a little bit of water and encapsulating it to protect the body. And that's what causes or what produces visceral fat. And so when we reduce the size of the body, but we don't reduce, or we don't do anything to try and get the impurities out of the body actually senses kind of an increased level of toxins, and it goes into like an emergency fat production. So you tend to rebound quickly. And so, and sometimes people actually gain more weight back. And you may have experienced that yourself. So the difference between, the difference between that and cleansing is we're still going to do, we're going to make healthy lifestyle choices, but we're also going to address the impurities in the body. And so as we do that, the body doesn't rebound. So the weight that we release, we actually release, we set it free. When you lose something, oftentimes you end up looking for it again. And we don't want to look for that weight that we lose. We actually want to set it free. We're going to release it. So, we're addressing the root cause first with the impurities in the body. And then, we are seeing so much more sustained results from people that, that stick around because they're able to keep the weight off. So, at the end of the day, there's a lot of different ways that you can get started in this. We have some systems that are put together for maximum benefit. And for those that can see it, these are two that are probably, kind of some of our most popular. One is the Rewards or Presence Pack, and the other is what we call a starter pack, or 30-day cleanse. And you get the products that you need to get started. And there's a number of others. There's one that really gives you options for pretty much everything that we have. I think there's about 85 different products. But these are two that we really see people with the most success. And the Rewards Pack is the most comprehensive, kind of bang for your buck. And that's the one that we see, the quickest and the best results with. But the starter pack certainly does work. And they range in different pricing and things like that. But again, it's all tailored, customized for you based on what your goals are. So what I want to do is just talk about 3 of the core products because I don't have time to talk about 85 products. We're going to talk about the 3 that I think are probably the most impactful to begin with. And the first is our shakes. Our Isoline shake is clinically proven to burn fat and support lean muscle production. It helps reduce cravings because you feel fuller longer. People are seeing an increase of energy and like recovery. I use a lot of this product for recovery in my workouts and helping produce lean muscle. The body will do a lot of work in order to get it healthier. And as we're putting good nutrition in, we see things change, like our blood tests and things that we're going through to check the health of the body. We're seeing the results are much better over time. One of the things that's so unique about this is that it's undenatured, meaning that it's not heated to a boiling point where you cook off all the natural digestive enzymes or branched chain amino acids, the things that are naturally occurring, the vitamins and minerals. So they're not having to be put in after the fact, kind of in a synthetic state. They're all naturally occurring. They're 99.9% lactose free. So for those who have challenges with dairy products, as long as it's not an actual whey allergy, then there's no problem with that. And it's really the digestive enzymes are intact, so you absorb it better. There's no chemicals or artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners in this product either. The next product is our Cleanse for Life product. It is the nutrient-rich product that we use on our cleanse days. It's not that kind of cleanse, if you know what I mean. We're not talking about an organ-specific cleanse. We're talking about one that we're really reaching into the cellular level and allowing the body to break down those toxic fat stores and flush them out through your urine. So it's like an intermittent fast, and we're just flooding the body with nutrients. There's over 100 nutrients in this product, and it just really supports the body's natural ability to detoxify itself. A lot of people you'll hear them talk about having increased mental and physical energy on cleanse days. Everybody's going to be a little bit different, so that's not always necessarily the case. But what I do know is that when you complete a cleanse day, it's like hitting the reset button on your body. And then Ionic Supreme is the other kind of core product that I want to talk about briefly. It's clinically proven to help bring the body into balance. It has adaptogenitive herbs in it, which means that your body will use it the way you need it in the time that you take it. You may need a bump in energy and your body will use it that way, or to relieve some kind of mental or physical or emotional stress. Recovery, again, I use it post-workout a lot to help with muscle soreness and things like that. So again, everybody's body's going to use it differently. And you start your day with it. You can use it up to 4 times a day and drink it hot or cold. It's really like a tea that you can consume, but it really does help with whatever your body needs in that moment. So I've touched on a lot of different things, and what I want to be clear on is that we're not saying that Isagenix can heal, cure, treat anything. It's really not the miracle. Your body is. And all we're saying is that if you fuel the body the right way, your body can do some quite amazing things. And we only have a few minutes left in this session, so I'm going to briefly just go through some results. For those of you that are listening in and can't see the screen, I'm sorry, you'll miss the before and afters, but we can send you the video after the fact. So I'm just going to go through. I'm not really talking about too many of them, but you can see that there's markable change in these people. 300-pound plus smoker who now is a triathlete and has won multiple sprint triathlons and was a runner-up in our IsaBody competition, which is pretty amazing. It's just, you can see the transformations in people as they begin to fuel the body the right way. And, these are just real folks that decided to make a change for themselves. Many of these people are on our team, and there's some national level folks too, that are using these products for both their teams. The lady here is a top fitness and figure coach. Her team wins competitions everywhere they go, and they're fueled by this nutrition. We have former pro athletes that are using these products, many of which, like Brandon Jacobs recently said from the stage, that he feels like had he had these products that he could take or use in his body while he was playing, he likely could have played a couple more years. And he said he feels better now than he's felt in years. And again, that's just a sampling. At the end of the day, really the next steps are, go back to the person that invited you, and talk through, different questions that you might have. I do want to offer the opportunity to ask questions if you want. Let me see if I can get you guys back here. Let's see. I'm trying to get your start video. So, if you guys want to, there's just a few of you, and we may not be able to do the video, but if you guys, I just unmuted, I think everybody, if anybody has any questions that they wanted to ask, we have a short amount of time left. And if you want, we can call back into the same website or phone number, and we can have more time to chat if you want. So it's kind of up to you guys. Otherwise, we can take this offline and you guys can ask questions. Anybody?